Hi, and welcome to NiCAN, and thank you for your interest. I'm Brad Humphrey, President and CEO of NiCAN, and in this video, we'll provide a brief overview of what NiCAN is and its projects. So first, I'd like everyone to take a quick look at the cautionary statements in our slide deck on our website, www.nicanltd.com, and we will be making some forward-looking statements in this presentation. So NiCAN was established as a private exploration company in 2021. The objective was to explore for prospective projects in known mining jurisdictions. We believe there's still considerable opportunities for discoveries in areas where there is data and infrastructure already in place. This reduces some of the risks as an exploration company. It also usually leads to lower exploration costs as we can leverage off of that historical data. We were fortunate enough to find two very prospective projects relatively early on. We acquired the Wine Nickel Copper Project in the Snow Lake area of Manitoba and the Pippy Nickel Project in the Thompson area of Manitoba. And the Pippy Project is located just to the north of the world-class Thompson nickel mine operated by Vale. We subsequently staked all the prospective ground around both properties. NiCAN then went public in the summer of 2022 on the TSX-V under the symbol NICN. The company has a very experienced board of directors and management team, and insiders hold roughly 20% of the shares outstanding. For this video, we'll stick to a more high-level summary of the projects, and we'll follow up with more detailed videos on each asset. Just to orient everyone, here's Manitoba. The wine property is right here between Snow Lake and Flin Flon, and the Pippy project is up in the Thompson area. So starting with the wine project, it's located between Snow Lake and Flin Flon, as we mentioned. It is just south of the Rail deposit, which was recently acquired by Hudbay when they, after their acquisition of Rockcliffe, and just to the north of Hudbay's Reed Lake mine. There is a lot of data on the property. However, historically, it was focused on copper, rarely assaying for nickel. And the historical data, the historical drilling was really quite shallow. NiCAN has completed 3 phases of drilling. These phases were relatively modest, totaling just under 8,000 meters. The drilling has focused on an area referred to as the Wine Gabbro in the northern part of the property, and this is where the original wine occurrence discovery was made. Of the 8,000 meters to date drilled on the property, just 2,000 meters were focused on the high-grade nickel copper zone referred to as the wine occurrence. So although we have been reporting some very significant results, it is still very early stage as we barely scratched the surface in this area. Still very early days, like I mentioned, on the wine property. There is a lot of potential to expand the known wine occurrence, which is right here. This is the Wine Gabbro, which has seen relatively little drilling given the area. There's also VMS potential down the western side of the property, which is where the historical drilling was focused. And there's some PGM and copper potential in the southern part of the property. We're currently focused, however, on the northern part in the Wine Gabbro. We just completed an extended phase 3 drilling program and an extensive time domain EM survey. We're incorporating all of that data with our earlier geophysics and geochem and the historical data, and that'll drive our targets for follow-up drilling programs on both the wine occurrence and the broader Wine Gabbro, particularly focused on areas where we hit elevated nickel and copper in the central mineralized zone, and we're also going to do some targeted drilling in this new conductor that was identified by the time domain survey we just completed. The objectives of the drilling to date on the Wine-Gabbro project has been to increase our understanding of the various high-grade zones at the wine occurrence. This is important because we can't extend beyond the immediate wine occurrence area without knowing where these zones are going. Every time we set up to drill the main zone, we tend to hit a new zone that subcrops. So it's been an interesting project and still lots of work to do to better understand the main wine occurrence main zone and all of these additional zones that we have been intersecting in our drilling. And then also on the broader Wine-Gabbro, where we hope to seek out additional mineralized lenses and better understand the areas where we have been hitting elevated nickel and copper. We believe the best analogy for the Wine-Gabbro is in the Lynn Lake area. So just to the north here, where the Farley mine was operated from the 1950s till the 70s. The Farley mine was located on a very similar gabbro to wine, and it totaled about 22 million tons of around 1% nickel and 0.5% copper. And those tons came from multiple pods and lenses throughout the gabbro. And that's what we have. This is the analogy we have in mind when we are exploring the broader Wine-Gabbro, and that's why we're not just focusing on the wine occurrence. Our second project is the Pippi project, and this is in the very prolific Thompson area, just to the north of Vale's Thompson nickel mine. This project has excellent infrastructure. There's a highway that crosses right through the Pippi South, which is our primary focus initially. And it's also just to the north of not only Vale's Thompson nickel mine, but also the town of Thompson. This project also has some very intriguing qualities, including being underlaid by the Pipe Formation, which is the host of the Thompson nickel mine deposits. It also received quite a bit of drilling by Inco in the past before they made the discovery at the Thompson nickel mine. They did not, so this is Pippi South right here. They did not submit their assay results with their assessment reports, but they did put in the drill logs, which do note intersections of nickel sulfides over good widths. So we would be hopefully able to set up and test some of those historical results, plus drill a little deeper into these folds that you can see here in this model that we've interpreted. Currently, we're in the permitting process at the Pippi project, and we hope to commence drilling later this year. Access, like I mentioned earlier, is very good with the highway cutting across the property, and all the infrastructure that the mining town of Thompson can provide. Our capital structure is quite simple. We've got 80 million shares outstanding, or roughly 80 million shares outstanding. Of that, insiders hold around 20%. We estimate that institutions hold roughly 25-26%, and the remainder is in retail hands. Our shares are quite liquid for a company of our size. And other than trading under the symbol NICN on the TSX-V, NiCAN also trades in Frankfurt under the symbol W8Y, and we are in the late stages of listing on the US exchange. NiCAN is run by an impressive group of experienced mining professionals, and it's particularly impressive given NiCAN's early stage and its size. And with that, I want to thank you for your interest in NiCAN, and please visit our website at www.nicanltd.com for additional information on the company and our assets. We appreciate you taking the time to watch the NiCAN overview video, and we will be publishing or posting some additional videos on each of the assets shortly. Thank you.